Good evening, my fellow lunatics. I'm Moon Spirit. Now think, what game can you think of when I say Sega Genesis? Wait! Without thinking Sonic the Hedgehog. Now most of y'all are thinking games like Streets of Rage 2, Gunstar Heroes, and ToeJam and Earl, which is fine because those are some really excellent games. But from what I can tell, there's one game in particular that doesn't seem to get much attention, and that is Dynamite Headdy. Developed by Treasure Games, the same people who made the aforementioned Gunstar Heroes, this is one game that seems overlooked. From what I can gather, it was most likely lost during the mascot wars in the 90s. You know, game companies making specific characters to make a franchise. The Battletoads, the Rocket Knights, and awesome possums. But this one stuck out to me the most during the tenure of my childhood. So here is Dynamite Headdy in all its pixelated goodness. And I apologize in advance because this review will be filled with puns, just as a heads up. The toy-like Northtown is under attack by the evil Dark Demon, and it's up to Dynamite Headdy to save the day. But he must defeat the Dark Demon's elite guards, the Keymasters, to get to him first. And that's the plot of the game, which is okay. After all, games like this doesn't need a complex plot, you know. There's also a love interest named Heather that collects the Keymaster's spindles for some unexplained reason. All the while this is happening, a cat guy named Trouble Bruin, yes, that's his name, is trying to take Headdy out of the spotlight and become the star of the show. But that won't happen because Headdy is always ahead of him. William Shakespeare once said, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players." Well, the game's world is literally a stage play, completely made out of scaffolding in the works. There are ropes that literally hold up the platforms, sometimes people behind the backdrops, even your health bar is a spotlight. And every time you beat a level, you get a round of applause from the audience. But the game isn't just a 2D platformer, where there are different kinds of levels, like this one being played on a 2.5D plane, one that takes you backstage, another that rotates 360 degrees, and there's even a shoot 'em up level. There's variety there and it really spices things up. But what shines is the soundtrack. It's a joy listening to it, but words don't do it justice. Just listen and watch me dance! And that's just a sliver of what this game can deliver. But that's not all it has in the audio department. Dynamite Headdy has some superb voice work that not many games on the Genesis are capable of, since most of them sound real scratchy. But take a listen.
You've got a secret bonus point. You've got another try.
I cannot believe it.
Hell, it's better than me talking about the level names because every single level is a pun to a famous movie like Terminate Her 2, Fly Hard, and even Star Wars. Hey, hey. As a 2D platformer, Headdy definitely uses his head really well, as he can headbutt his enemies in all 8 directions, but he can also use his head as a grapple to climb up platforms thanks to Hangman, this little orange Pac-Man-like thing. There are power-ups Headdy can use thanks to a little helper named Headcase. Some included are Hammer Headdy that makes you hit harder, Spike Headdy that can latch onto walls and ceilings for climbing, Invisible Headdy to make you untouchable by the enemy's hits, and Triple Headdy that launches 3 heads. And that's just to name a few, but don't get the big heady one because you'll be royally effed in the butt. There are bonus stages you can participate in by getting Headcase's B power-up, which apparently stands for basketball. Get enough baskets to earn a secret code for a secret final level, which I was unable to do because the game was a little hard for me. Though I did hear the Japanese version is a lot easier than the one we got here, as well as some other visual changes here and there. There isn't much to say about the enemies since they are mostly scattered and in between some of the time. But the Keymaster boss fights are the real highlights of the game. You get to fight a gigantic robot dog while listening to a number from the Nutcracker, a mannequin with interchangeable fighting costumes, a giant face with 2 different sides, and even this giant spherical robot that can spin you into the background to mix things up. I always look forward to fighting these mechanical monstrosities, especially when Trouble Bruin tries to stop you. All in all, this game evokes a lot of charm through its gameplay, and these boss battles are a treat. After fighting all the Keymasters and whatever comes your way, it is time to fight the Dark Demon King. And he's not easy. He has many different attacks like summoning minions, make a stone wall fall on you, or blast you with a giant laser, which you are royally screwed if you get the wrong power-up. Just be sure to pay attention to his glowing crystal ball. Once he is finally defeated, Heather is saved and this happy coin thing shows up as well. Either way, hugs and the world is safe and everyone lives happily ever after. Or do they? Unfortunately, that was the last of Dynamite Headdy. No sequels or spiritual successors at all. It's a shame not many people know about this game because it is a true hidden gem on the Genesis. That's why Dynamite Headdy is a real head turner. I'm serious, this game is worth checking out. The world is charming in its staged theater presentation and the music is wonderful. Check the description below for a link to an OC remix of the soundtrack. You can get it for cheap on eBay, Steam, or through Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection on 360 and PS3. You'll have a blast with this game, I can assure you that. Well, that's all the time I have for y'all today, so until then, I'm Moon Spirit saying good night.
Yes!
Hey guys, thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe to become one with my Lunatic Legion. I want to give a huge shout out to Jonas and Furious Action Gamer for taking a look at my scripts. Links to their channels are in the description below. Click on the video on the left to check out my other review, Castlevania Lords of Shadow. But if you want something more Genesis related, click on my first ever top 10 where I count down my favorite classic Sonic songs. Until then, good night guys.